Well, hi, good morning, and thank you for joining me in my shop here. It's June 5th, and yeah, I'm totally intimidated by this radio here. I've printed out and taped together a schematic, so I have a whole schematic to work with, a few reference charts here, and some notes on tube pin numbers and plates and grids and stuff on the first few tubes. So what I'm thinking here, and I really don't know where I'm going with this, to be honest, to be totally honest with the viewing public, which would be you, I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark here. The radio's performance is poor. I don't really know why. I think what I'm going to try to do is trace a signal through the radio, through the circuit from tube to tube, and hear what's going on. It turns out that's a challenge because the one of the intermediate frequencies, well, both of them are actually unusual. One is 1650. That's right at the limit of my signal tracer to tune in, and the other one is at 50 kilohertz. And I doubt my tuner, I'm just looking at it now, it's going to get to 50 kilohertz. 170 is as low as it goes. So how you trace past, how I'm going to trace through 50 kilohertz, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm going to go somewhere. Anyway, so the name of the game is to feed in a known signal on band 1, which would be band 1. Okay, that's band 1. And do this somewhere. Let's do it. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong scale. Wrong scale. Around 1,000,000 hertz, just because that's a nice number. 1,000,000 hertz. We'll set this to 1,000,000 or so. Okay, output from here is just going into the antenna, and then I want to trace it back with this guy. First I need to attach this to ground. I used the clip just a little too tight there. Now grab a clip lead, and I will test it. Since I got fooled with a bad clip lead yesterday. So this is the ground for the signal tracer. This is the probe. The cord is very short. That's the end of it there. And I need to practice what I'm going to touch. So the idea is go to vacuum tube number 1, find pin number 1, that's the grid. That, I don't even have to have the set on to detect the signal because it's just passing through some coils and stuff. So we need to hook up so the signal generator is connected. It's operating. It's at 1,000,000. 1,000,000. Yeah, to start with, we can trace on that signal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune my signal tracer here to 1,000,000. So first RF, band B, that's this, and 1,000,000. About here. So that's tuned to about 1,000,000. I should turn it on. It works better when it's on. And all I'm going to do is start by just tracing right from the antenna. So we'll hear the signal generator and calibrate things. And then I'll move in to the pin number 1 on V1. And do I have a chart here that shows where V1 is? So V1 down by the capacitors towards the back, right there. Down by the capacitors. Ouch. Up. So the capacitors are up behind here, of course. So it's more like that. V1 is going to be this tube right up here. Goodness gracious, it's hard to even see. Oh, hey, what are you looking at? Don't look over there. Look over here. Let's see now. Set is not on. So I want to get to V1, pin 1. Pin 1, V1, pin 1. There it is. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to want to take this probe. Oh boy. Uh-huh. Can I just lay this whole thing? I can lay this whole radio right down, upside down, right upside down. I'm going to do that. It's actually a better way maybe to work on it here. So we're going to pick it up. Lay it right down. Okay, now might be just a little easier to get at things here. If I can see them, where to go. So here's the tube in question right here. Pin 1 is fairly accessible. So let's go this way. too many cords hooked up here. Don't need that one. Okay. Now if I was to do pin number 1, I would be able to do it like this. Okay, well, you know what? We should be hearing something already. Now, first I got to turn up. Make sure we're tuned here. Very, very quiet on the pretty quiet. There we go. Get a little more out of it there. The attenuator was turned up a bit. Okay. So we should be able to pick up the signal coming right from the... Ooh, what was that big thing there? We should be hearing this. Why are we not hearing this? Why are we not hearing this? What am I doing here? The paper's covering everything. Bench. Here. Signal generators. It's at a low setting. Let me turn it up. That's a fairly high setting now. Okay, we're listening to it. Bad hum, but I think that's just par for the course here. Okay, it should be much louder than that. Why is it that faint? Something not right here already. Let's just listen to the actual output from the signal generator. I'm going to turn it down a notch here. Very faint. Well, what is going on? This shouldn't really be this faint, should it? Okay, something not right. Something is not right. Is this ground not taken? No. I don't get it here. Something a little strange, so I might... Oh, maybe I've got this turned way down. No, it's calibrated. Yeah, that's a problem. I had no modulation. My modulation meter is not working properly, but that's better. Okay. Now we can be happy. Okay, we can be happy. Go back. So we're listening to the signal straight from the signal generator. Now hook it up to the antenna. Check it right on the antenna line. Sounds the same. We now go for pin 1. Pin 1 here. I hear nothing. Nothing at all now. Not to jump to conclusions, but tune a bit. We are on the proper band. And the 1 is right here. Let me turn this up. Any hint of it? Nothing whatsoever. So we might be onto something already here. Just getting close. Ooh, ooh. Set's not on, right? Just trying to hunt the signal now. So signal happening around here, of course. This is pretty crazy what I'm doing. I have the volume turned way up in case you haven't noticed what I'm doing here. Well, I can only sniff it out of the air right around here. It's like it's not going anywhere at all. So there's a coil or something right back here. Can I spin this all the way around? How can we get a look at that? There's a whole series of coils here. Hook straight, this is right, this is not to the antenna. The antenna wire looks like it's coming into the band switch here. Yeah, let's try switching the band a little bit. So I'll put this back on pin 1 of the things went quiet there. Here we go. So now the radio's tuning is not going to be helpful in this case. So what should I do? I boost the signal over here. Try to overcome any tune around a bit. I can't imagine that's going to help now. So now I've turned this signal up. I just got to get. Short test again. The set is not switched on. Oop. Something bad. Something just happened to my instrument. How come you went so quiet? Dirty switch. No idea what I'm doing, just doing stuff. Okay, shouldn't it show up near this tube? Tube number 1. Wait a minute. Where'd all that come from? Just now. I got tube number 1 mixed up here. Tube number 1. Tube number 1. Where'd you go? Just here. Tube number 1, 3 in a row, just past the capacitor. 3 in a row. And tube number 1 is towards the back. I think I've been fooling around with I've been fooling around with this tube. It's this tube, which of course is close to the antenna input. That makes perfect sense. On the wrong tube. Okay, so we have the volume turned down a bit. The interference has come. That ticking sound is some kind of interference I suffer from all the time in here. So pin number 1 would be right here. Let's go back to the right band, and let's make sure it's tuned in case that's an element of it. Tuned around 1. That's a signal there. We're just going a couple inches this way to pin number 1. Where's the tone? That's the antenna tuner I'm just turning for fun. How can the signal not make it here? I mean, it's just coming there. Well, if the signal's coming in and hitting straight to an antenna coil, there's a chance that coil has been damaged, because the antenna is an external wire going out into the environment. Stuff happens to it. Next thing you know, your antenna coil is burned out. So that would be true, because that band 1 didn't seem to work. Let's go to band 2. Now in band 2, the frequency we're actually tuned to is 3. The problem here is I can't tune in with this. This is limited to what it can tune. Can't tune outside of the broadcast band, really. So we're kind of stuck on 1. Or I have to find another way to detect the signal. Of course, the other way to detect the signal, whoops, is listen with the radio. And did I pull both clip leads off? Look at that. Snap them both off. Listening with the radio, it seems to work. It's just weak. And that brings me around to the why don't I align this thing? And yeah, I feel like I'm going around the circle here, kind of swirling around the drain. Can't find the signal 2 inches into the radio. Let's look at the schematic and see if there's some easy way to figure out if this coil is open over here. Let's take a look at the schematic quickly. Make my mouse work. My mouse is lost. What has happened? My mouse is missing. Mouse is missing in action. There it is. Strange thing. I think I have a lot of interferences here in my shop that interfere with the computer, the mouse, anything wireless, I think. I don't know. Okay, let's go. Wait a minute. Where are we going? We don't need to go anywhere. I got it here on paper. Oh my. It's looking at this kind of, a 3-page schematic on a computer screen. It's going to drive you nuts. So here we have the antenna input. The antenna input goes to the switch. Selects which one of these coils. Here's the 4 coils. Those would be the 4 coils up there. And what does it actually do? So these are actually transformers. So I have a primary and a secondary side. Primary side will connect between A1 and A2 as you rotate the switch. You just select different sets of coils. You're selecting the input. The output side is the same all the time. So we just put an ohm meter on the antenna, turn the band switch, and we'll verify these. That's kind of like, wow. I mean, you haven't even got your foot in the front door yet. But that's what has to happen. So the way to do that is to get the ohm meter out. And we're going to give it a shot here. Not only am I using the ohm meter, I'm using the Allen meter. Wow. Just set it inside here and bang parts around. That's good. Okay, so the radio is now set to band 1. Take this off. Take this off. Band 1 is the one I think might have an open. Has a problem. Appears to have a problem. Meter's working. Here we go. From the antenna, you know what? Clip it, clip it, clip it, clip it. So I make this easy on me. Okay, so we'll clip this to the other side of the antenna. Input. Okay. And we're going to clip the other side also. Already. That shows you the coil is not open. Oh, that's interesting. So these other three, they show a very low resistance. That looks like a 0. But when you get to band 1, you get 26 ohms. 26 ohms, eh? Well, that does start indicating something's going on. Now, how do you get 26 ohms? How come it's not just open? Or is this actually just a high resistance coil in such a low band? I have a lot of wire in the coil. So there really is no way for any resistance to appear except in the actual winding. 26 ohms is not open circuit. And the rest of these coils, they could just be, you know, so low resistance. Okay, can we do the same thing on the secondary side? But the secondary side is not at risk. It's the primary side that's at risk from the antenna connection. This is definitely different from the other two by a long shot. Let's just do it again. Yeah, wow. But quite often the broadcast coil is dramatically different from the other coils. I can see the coils in here. I can see the big bundles of wire. And those are all tuned coils too. Two of them are tuned coils. Two of them are not. Yeah, I see. Two of them have slugs. Two of them do not appear to have a slug. They appear to be slugless. Something down there. No slug in two of them. So we're slugged in two. Those are the ones with the big, all the coils though. That's kind of counterintuitive. So these ones have a lot of winding. Counterintuitive. These ones have slugs with less winding. Maybe that goes together. You don't need as much. If you put a slug in, you don't need nearly as much of a coil. So I see a ground wire coming in and winding through them all. That would be this wire here. And then off the switch is a series, yes, of selector wires. Series of selector wires off there. So we're inconclusive on the open circuit problem, I think. What we would do now, I'm going to go back to listening. This is just crazy. I'm literally checking the first piece of wire here. Get this out of here. Is the piece of wire working? That's nuts. Okay, massive confusion. Here we are, signal generator. So we're going to put this back on the antenna. grab the probe. Now where are we at frequency-wise? We're at 1,000,000 there, 1,000,000 here. We should hear it. There it is. We hear it without even touching. So it should be coming up on these wires. Then let me touch. That's the sound. That's the sound right there. Darn, I wish this signal tracer, I should put the tracer up on my bench up here instead of where I have it. Again, pin 1. Funny, eh? That you get that interference noise, but you don't get the actual signal. So we are on, definitely on the right band. I think it's this coil, and the output would be here. Can't really say that because that would be ground. Yeah, that's what ground sounds like. That's what ground sounds like. Okay. So we can see that the signal is right here. If I change the band, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, so much for what I was going to say. Interesting. Doesn't seem to matter what band you select there. So what are we finding out here? Finding out that the wire goes from here to the switch is good, and from the switch to the top of this coil. Sounds louder, eh? No, sounds the same. Good. What about the secondary side of the coil? Black wires. So they've painted the different terminals. They've painted a terminal white. They put up, somebody's taken like white out and marked on each one of these coils one terminal with a white mark. I kind of guess that would be the output terminal. Here, the black wire is, you would normally have a link in here, and this black wire would be grounded. Is the link there? Oh, I'm telling you, I've got to go and get my eyes. Gotta get some new glasses here. Yeah, the link is there. Link is closed. So this should sound the same as this, which it does. And then that should sound the same as this, which it does. What happened to the nice tone that was here a minute ago? It's on the other side, on the primary side. What happened? What happened to it? Where'd you go? On the wrong band. No, I don't. Well, I just not what's happening here. How come I'm? But this is working differently than it did a minute ago. How can that be? How can that be? How can that be? I can't get past the antenna connection. And I got all this to figure out, and I can't figure out the antenna connection. Holy smokes. What a situation here. Let's try again. This is definitely connected. I concluded something. Have I got this backwards? I got this. I'm on the... No, this is the right band for sure. So you think you'd be switching in... Well, I would have thought it would be switching in the coil with the pile of wire. This can't even be the problem. There's no problem here. The problem is me and what I'm doing. What I'm doing is not making any sense. We follow the signal wire itself. It comes. Way down there. Can't get to it. Probe not long enough. If we look at the four switched wires, it's pretty obvious. This one is on over to here. And that makes sense to me. Very large coils. Okay, secondary side. Oh my gosh. This is probably a ground here, and this is probably the secondary. You don't hear anything. Why would we not hear anything there? The red wire. There's a red wire coming from the secondary. No. Oh, I wish my tracer worked at a higher frequency. I could try the other bands and compare them to what's happening here. But it would appear there's no signal getting past this transformer. Because it's the primary. That's the input side of the primary. I switch it. You can still hear it, but it's gone down. It's just... That's definitely it. That's the... The other side of the coil is supposed to be grounded. It should sound like this. Is it supposed to be grounded? Getting a strong tone off both sides of the primary side of the antenna coil. So what's the other side doing? So so we're coming in. Oh, this actually has the bands listed right on it here. Band 1. There we are. Band 1. No core. Okay. Okay. Adds up. Come along here. The secondary side goes out to the A2 screw where it's joined to the ground. Is that not working? Is it not? Is this not getting grounded? That would mean all these coils are ungrounded, and they'd all be in trouble. The whole radio is weak, isn't it? So no grounding of the coil. Well, that's just kind of a fat chance on that. Let's see. The This is terrible. Thinking this is what it's taking me to go through just the first inch of this radio, and there's about 1.5 miles to go. Oh my gosh, this is scary stuff. We'll set this here. You shouldn't do this, but I'm doing it because I'm in a mood now. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood. Wow, that was set pretty high. Okay, so what we're trying to look for now is a ground on here. Should be a 0. Well, there's a 0 there. And on the other side, we should see the resistance of the coil, which that could have been it right there. Oh, I touched the... There's that 25 again, 26 on the previous measurement. So 26 ohm coil right here. 31. A lower reading when you read it through the ground connection. When you read it direct, you get a higher. On the secondary side, well, it's not shorted. That was my hand touching the probe again. Not open, rather. Not open. Not open. So I've traced it to here. From here, it's supposed to go where? It's a late start this morning, so I'm not going to go much longer here. So it gets on the secondary side. Secondary side grounded, one side, other side going up through the selector switch, selecting into here, and then over to the grid. No wonder I can't read the DC here. There's a capacitor right there, for crying out loud. I'd have to get on the other side of the capacitor. I got to find it, and it's spaced out by a resistor, so fat chance finding it easily. Ooh, 22 ohm resistor there. That's probably to stop an oscillation or something like that. Well, we've got the answer on the DC test. Did I do a DC test all the way from here? That's crazy. That would be crazy. Going through coils, that would be crazy. We need to check. We need to find this resistor. We need to work our way back from here, find the resistor, find the capacitor. We could then resistance check back over to here through the switch if we wanted to. Or maybe this is the problem. This capacitor here might be just dragging the entire thing down. If this little capacitor is not a happy guy, it's not very likely. There's also a 1 meg resistor here. So let's do that. So we'll look pin 1 off of here. Look for the 22 ohm resistor. What are you going to do? Get on the other side. Well, who cares? Read the resistance of the resistor. Read the resistance of the resistor. Sure. Why not? That sounds like a pretty typical thing to do. So we get down here. Oops, sorry about that. Sharpen your ears as it is in mine. So we're looking at pin 1, and we should find 1 resistor coming off it. Oh, that's not pin 1, that's for sure. Did I mistake pin 1? Pin 1 is back here. What did I test before? I was on the wrong tube originally. I never tested this properly. That is the case. Okay, so we're still tuned to 1,000,000. be here. Ah, there it is just fine. Okay. Well, okay, I got there. That's the thing. I got there. Okay, so we know the tube is getting the signal from the antenna. Wow, that's a tough journey. Well, we have to continue tracing it now, only with the set operating, going tube by tube. Too bad I got all bunged up in there. Kind of wasted a lot of time, but that's what happens, you know. I think you have to accept that you're working on something you're not familiar with. Your head's going to be full of wrongness initially, anyway, and that wrongness is going to interfere. Okay, so we know how to get from the antenna to the first tube, band 1. We just need to go from there. That's for tomorrow. Or I may be out of the shop for a few days now, here and there. I don't know. So my posting may get kind of sparse. But it might. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Sorry again that this is not a nice, clean trek through the radio. Kind of a stumbling around thing, but so be it. Thanks a lot for watching, and next time I'm in here, I'm going to pursue that signal tracing thing further into the radio. That's my plan. See ya.